The Vietnam War era has changed much of American culture with a significant impact on education. During this era, President Johnson would sign several pieces of legislation as part of his Great Society and War on Poverty. These would have an impact on education. However, it was the growing public awareness of atrocities of war, seen through the lens of a changing media and personal accounts from soldiers, that helped the transitional interpretation of wartime events. Prior to the Vietnam era, governmental and societal pressures suppressed the views of those that were critical of the nationalistic militarism, considered them to be controversial and subversive. Textbooks from the Vietnam era presented what is considered now by some a hidden curriculum fostering an unwavering patriotism and service to nation. However, this era also saw global societal changes from group conformity, which supported nationalism, to individualism and the focus on individual rights. From this growing individualism, as demonstrated in the media and opposition to the Vietnam War, the glorification of war in pictures showing celebrations of victory, warships, aircraft, and the flying of the national flag, as seen in this picture and seen here, that has waned, and the atrocities of war have come to light in pictures of dead and wounded soldiers and the impact on civilians. Increasingly, high school textbooks have gone from a more factual representation of World War II, which includes the causes, events, and results of the war, to the suffering and sacrifices of the soldiers and civilians, as can be seen in such pictures. In a study by Lockman and Mitchell, the average mention of casualties for the World War II period and the war in Vietnam in high school textbook increased from about 2 mentions per textbook in 1970 to about 13 mentions per textbook for World War II and 22 mentions per textbook for the Vietnam era. And since the terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001, we've also seen that patriotism and nationalism have re-entered textbooks, but the focus on the cost of war through the personal experiences, concerns, and sacrifices of soldiers and their families continues to be evident in textbooks. The societal changes that brought about more individualism and the focus on individual rights affected the response to the war in Vietnam, and subsequently the focus in the media and textbooks has changed from the glorification of war to the hardships of war on soldiers and civilians.